Kitchen. I'm here with Tasha Carr.
Hey!
Who's going to be cooking with you guys today.
Today we're going to be using garlic scapes in 3 different ways. We're going to make the garlic scape oil, we're going to do a garlic scape tzatziki, and then we're going to finish with a nice tomato sauce with the garlic scapes and some mushrooms.
That sounds amazing.
It's going to be so good.
Awesome, let's get cooking.
Yes! All right, we're going to start with our tzatziki, and what we're going to need for that is 1 cup of whole yogurt, half a cup of grated cucumber, half a lemon, a pinch of salt, a little bit of dill, and then our best ingredient here, the garlic scapes. We're going to thinly slice those. So this is the garlic scape. You can see that it's really long and kind of like a noodle almost, but it's the tops of the garlic. And what you can do is you can use all of this for any of the purposes that we're going to. And you just chop it really thinly. All right, we have our red knife today, and we're going to hold it really sturdy, and we're just going to cut these garlic scapes really thinly for the tzatziki. I cut the tips off there, and we're just going to thinly dice these. And you want to hold your knife really tight, move your fingers back slightly every time you chop. You can also grate these if you're not interested in cutting them. But the key is to make sure that they're very thin because they pack a lot of flavor. All right, we're going to start assembling our tzatziki, and it's so simple. We start here with our yogurt, dump that in. If you prefer low-fat yogurt, you can use it. This is whole yogurt. And then we're gonna add our cucumber. If it's very watery, you wanna wring this out, otherwise you're going to have very watery tzatziki. Salting cucumber helps draw out the water, so you can do that first. And we're gonna just stir this up real fast, get that combined. And then we're going to add our garlic scapes that we cut up right here. Here we go. All of those into the pot. All right, and then squeeze our lemon, half a lemon. The lemon adds acidity. Oop, don't want that in there. Give that another quick stir. And now all we do is have to season it. So we have just a pinch of salt here and about a teaspoon of dill. Looks about like this. We add that in, give it another quick stir, and that's it. That's our tzatziki. That's our garlic scape tzatziki. All right, so we have here our finished tzatziki, and then we also have our garlic scape oil, and this is so simple and so flavorful, and you can put it in anything. All it is a 1/4 cup of oil of your choice to 2 garlic scapes, and you can let this infuse for as little as 24 hours or as long as for a couple weeks. And so now I'm going to try this tzatziki. I'm going with one of our carrots here. It's so good, and a little bit of spice, delicious. So maybe you're wondering, what is tzatziki sauce? Well, that's a good question. It's a super fresh, really delicious yogurt dipping sauce. You can use it for sandwiches, like I could assemble a little cucumber sammy right here for you now and take a bite. Or you can dip some delicious vegetables in it, like this here pea that we got from last week. Or you can even put it on rice dishes. It's so versatile.
Okay guys, we are now going to start on our main dish today, and again we're going to be using garlic scapes. We just wanted to show you all the amazing things you can do with them. And so we are going to be making a easy pasta sauce using garlic scapes, and we're going to be putting mushrooms and fresh herbs in, but this is really versatile. You can put whatever you want in this, and we're just going to show you how it's done. So for this recipe, we are using spaghetti as our pasta, but you can use whatever you have on hand or whatever your favorite pasta is. We're going to use a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, or you can use 2 15-ounce cans if that's what you have on hand. We're going to use half of an onion that we're going to dice up, and we're going to use maybe 4 to 5 garlic scapes, and we're going to cut these into 1 each pieces and saute those with the onion. We are putting mushrooms in our sauce because we're big mushroom fans here, but if you're not a mushroom fan, there's all other kinds of things that you could put in your sauce, like spinach or bell peppers. We're also going to need some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons of that, and then we are adding fresh herbs to our sauce. I think the recipe has some dried herb options, but any kind of dried Italian herbs that you would like to use, such as oregano, thyme, parsley, basil, or sage. Fennel seed, you can throw some of those in. We're going to use some fresh oregano, fresh basil, and fresh sage. And then to cook this, you're just going to need a spoon or spatula to stir the sauce, a red knife, which is a nice size for cutting onions, and a cutting board. So first off, before you start your sauce, you're just going to want to cook your pasta to the instructions on the package. So that's what we're going to do before we start. Okay, so first we're going to dice up half of this onion to start sauteing. And when you cut up an onion, you're going to first cut off both ends. And you're going to want to peel off the first few layers of this paper on the outside. So after you have taken all the paper off of an onion, there's usually a very hard, fibrous layer on the outside. So you want to go ahead and take that first layer of flesh off. So now we're ready to cut it in half, and we're going to set that aside. And then to cut this onion, we're going to put it on its flat side and cut maybe a 1/4 inch thick slices lengthwise. Then you want to gather those together and turn it the other direction and start cutting a 1/4 inch the other way. Next we're going to cut up our garlic scapes, and while Tasha cut hers very thin for her tzatziki, we're going to cut ours into about inch pieces and saute them for our sauce to give it some good garlic flavor. And these are really tough, so you just want to handle the knife very firmly. And again, you can use 4 to 5 garlic scapes, less or more depending on how much you like garlic. I love garlic, so the more the better for me. So now we're going to prep our herbs. These will go in later in the dish, but we're going to go ahead and cut them up now. And as we mentioned before, we have some sage here, some basil leaves, and some oregano. So for these herbs, we just want to chop them up pretty fine. And once you cut them lengthwise, you can just cut them the other way. Next up we have oregano, and these are just the leaves, and you want to make sure that you wash your herbs beforehand. And with these, the easiest way is to hold the handle of the knife with one hand and pinch the tip of the knife with your other hand, and just do a rocking motion, holding the tip of the knife down with your left hand and your right hand going up and coming back down in kind of a circular motion to chop them up real fine. This is also a great way of mincing garlic and other herbs. And once you cut one way, you can cut in the other direction and make sure they're nice and small. For basil, basil is such a sweet herb, it's nicer to have bigger chunks in your sauce, unlike sage and oregano. So for this, we're just going to slice them really thin in a julienne style. So you want to layer up all of your leaves if you're using fresh herbs, and just cut thin strips. The final thing we have to chop are our mushrooms, and these are going to be really simple. We're just going to cut them into about 1/4 inch slices, the whole 8-ounce package. Okay, now we're ready to start cooking. We have our skillet on the stove, and we're just going to turn the heat onto medium. And we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the skillet and get that heating up. Okay, so first we're going to put in our onions and get those sauteing. Okay, so a minute or 2 in, we're ready to add our garlic scapes. And we're going to saute these with the onions until everything is tender and a little bit browned on the outside. Like we said, the garlic scapes are kind of tough, so you want to make sure they're cooked through so you don't get a lot of stringy toughness in your sauce. But these are going to add so much flavor. Okay, so it's been cooking for about 5 minutes, and as you can see, things are getting a little bit brown, a little bit toasted. So we're gonna go ahead and add our mushrooms and cook those down. And if you need to add a little bit more olive oil at this point, if it's feeling a little too dry in there, you go ahead and do that. And in fact, this would be a great recipe to use infused garlic scape olive oil in that we learned about earlier, so get all that extra flavor in there. Okay, so the mushrooms have been cooking about 2 minutes, and we did have to add a little bit of extra olive oil, so it's getting a little dry. And it's now time to add our tomatoes. And these are really delicious tomatoes, fire roasted, which are great. So we're just going to put this whole can in. And we're going to mix them all up. And we're just going to let it cook for a few minutes, kind of let it reduce, let some of the water boil off so the flavor intensifies and it gets nice and thick. And then a few minutes from the end, we're going to add our herbs so the flavor stays nice and fresh. Okay, so this has been reducing for about 5 minutes. As you can see, it's thickened up quite a bit. And if yours feels a little too thick, something that you can do to loosen that up is add some of your pasta water, which is nice and starchy. That'll add some really great flavor. But right now, it's time to add all of our fresh herbs. So we have them all chopped up here in this bowl. And fresh herbs are really delicate, so we want to preserve that flavor. So we're just going to leave it in there maybe a minute or two longer at the most. Just let those flavors meld. It already smells really good. And then we're going to take it off the heat, and it's going to be ready to eat. So we're ready to eat. We have our pasta and our delicious sauce. And you're just going to want to put some salt and pepper in there to taste and then eat up.
Mmm.